So, as a physician assistant and therapist, I pretty much talk for a living all day long. But there are things that I have incorporated in my life, the things that I do that have become the most important things in my life. And part of my job as a therapist and as a physician assistant, teaching people about health and wellness, there's a lot that I encourage people to do, things that they can add to their life, things that they can remove from their life that will make them overall generally healthier, both in body and in mind. But I walk the walk and talk the talk. I practice what I preach. And I've been a lifelong athlete all my life. I've been interested in health and wellness for a long time. I grew up in the woods of Georgia. I played outside all summer long. I spent my days in the garden with my grandparents and with my parents. So there's a lot that just comes from my roots about living healthy, living simply, living close to the earth. But these are 10 habits that I have cultivated that when I boil them down and I look at the things that have made the most difference in my life and the things that I really encourage those who see me to do as well are really pretty simple. So I wanted to share those with you. So, habit number one, daily movement. Moving my body every single day has probably been the single biggest investment in my health and wellness that I could make. I began running when I was 16, admittedly to get into a pair of jeans. It wasn't for the health and wellness benefits. I wanted a pair of acid wash Guess jeans, and I just couldn't get myself in them. So I figured running would help me drop a few pounds so I could get into them, which it did. Awesome. But I never thought that I would keep running. But what I found was it was really more than the physical changes that running brought into my life. It was this transformation of my spirit. Like it really connected me in a way that I did not expect. It calmed my mind. It gave me clarity at the end of the run. I just felt less anxious. I felt more at peace. That's what kept me running. But daily movement is a part of what keeps me healthy. And when I started running at 16, I really haven't stopped. I ran through all my pregnancies, and I cannot imagine not starting my day moving my body. I've run a dozen marathons, 3 Ironman distance races. I've been an athlete all my life. But it's not just about running and competing and doing races. And in fact, I don't like to compete generally. I like training. But you don't have to be a runner or a biker or a swimmer or do like specific sports. Find something you love. Find something that speaks to your heart. Because you want to do something that you can sustain. There's no point in becoming a runner if you don't like to run. Go for a walk. Go for a leisurely bike ride. Go for a hike. Go for a swim. Dance. Do yoga. Pilates. There's so many ways that you can move your body, but it's the consistent daily movement that brings immense dividends into your longevity, your physical health, but your mental health especially. It's where mind and body and soul actually unify is when we are moving our body. So daily movement is probably number one at the top of my list of the things that I have cultivated as a habit. And just remember, anytime you start something new, it's going to feel not so great at first. That's just because our brains are hardwired to keep us where we are. Whenever we try something new, there's a little resistance. So be gentle with yourself, have compassion, but commit. Commit to doing the work and then commit to moving your body every single day. None of this 3 days a week nonsense. Do it every day, like brushing your teeth. Just do it every day. Number 2, practicing gratitude. Now, I was challenged in my life several years ago when one of my patients who was going through a terminal diagnosis, I floated the idea out to her that practicing gratitude would be helpful for her. She challenged me. She said, well, I think it would be good for both of us, so let's do it together, which was awesome because she held my feet to the fire every time I talked to her. She was my patient, and yet she would ask me, Jada, are you doing your gratitude journal? Having that consistency, having that person that's going to check in on me, and knowing that she was facing a mountain in her life so much bigger than any I had ever climbed, made me commit to doing the gratitude journal practice with her. I remember that year I got all my kids' gratitude journals, hoping they would join in with me, which I don't think any of them actually did. But that's okay. You plant the seeds and hope they fall on fertile ground at some point, right? But I started a gratitude journal, and I don't write in it every day. I keep it on my desk. It's visual. I can go to it anytime I want, but I make a point of practicing gratitude. And in fact, I often go to my gratitude journal when I'm kind of in a funk. If I find myself in a low moment or for some reason I'm just unhappy, I'll pull up my gratitude journal. As soon as I shift my mindset into things I'm grateful for, it shifts everything. Keeping a gratitude journal keeps me in a positive mental mindset. With a gratitude journal, I always feel like I can accomplish anything. I quickly move out of a victim or lack mindset and move into simply just counting my blessings. So, number 2 is gratitude, keeping a gratitude journal. Number 3 I have on my list is forgiveness. Now, as a woman who's gone through divorce and the pain that caused and how hard that was to reinvent myself in my life, that has been one of the greatest challenges that I've had. We all have stuff, right? And we all have hurts and pains and wounds and things that could keep us in a negative space. But gratitude and forgiveness, especially, allow me to let go of the things that really do not serve me. When you forgive someone, it's really a blessing to yourself. When you forgive, it's really a gift to you. It's really you letting go of the pains that you cannot change, the hurts that you cannot change. And actually, gratitude and forgiveness can go hand in hand because it's in the times that I've forgiven that I've then flipped right into being grateful for what those lessons in life taught me. You're grateful for the hardships because they often have hidden blessings in them that aren't always visible at the time. So forgiveness has allowed me to really open up my heart and not hang on to any sort of negativity or hate or anger because it doesn't serve me. And in fact, it hurts me. So forgiveness is number 3 on my list of habits that have helped me cultivate a healthy life. Number 4 is living simply. And I mentioned that at the beginning, like living simply close to the land. I grew up, all my family were farmers, many of them still are. Living close to the land was something that we just did. We ate from the garden. All of my family were hunters, and it's just what we did. We didn't have a lot of fancy stuff. Living simply taught me to appreciate simple things. And several years ago, my husband and I bought an old farmhouse, and we spent COVID, actually, fixing it up ourselves. We couldn't get any help, so we learned how to build walls and tile and paint and put in windows and build decks. Like, I didn't know how to do any of that. But living simply and just paying for things as you go um, is a way of life that just brings peace. Living simply, counting your blessings every day. Habit number 5 is one that I've recently adopted. This is a new habit for me, but this particular new habit has become profoundly impactful in my life, and that is meditation. I never really considered myself a person who would do meditation. I always felt like my exercise was meditative in nature, and you can certainly do walking meditation or running meditation or moving meditation. You don't have to sit to meditate. But because I move my body every day and it's meditative in many ways, I have now cultivated sitting meditation. And in fact, I start my day now with this before I do anything. I sit quietly and I meditate. And sometimes that conjures up all sorts of images of, um, sitting cross-legged with your hands in the air, chanting. I don't do that. I sit up in a chair and I don't chant anything, but just sitting still and really just having that moment of stillness. That's where the medical part of me understands that brain waves change into long wave theta waves, which is what repairs our DNA on a cellular level. It's the breathing slows down, which activates the parasympathetic nervous system, which lowers the stress response in my body, which lowers cortisol in my body. And it leaves me with a state of calm and peace. And it's also a place where I can practice gratitude. So meditation has really left me with enormous physical, emotional, and mental benefits that I quite simply didn't anticipate. And I pop out of bed at 5 a.m. and start meditating. And I know that may sound a little crazy, but I have found that what it gives to me is so profound that I look forward to my time every morning. Number 6 is journaling. And I wasn't I was a journaler in college. And I remember when I went away to college, my sister gave me my very first journal. She thought that I might be homesick and it would be helpful for me to write my journal. Well, she was right, and I did find it helpful. And I wrote all through college. And then I put the journal away and I didn't really journal again until I went through my divorce, and I found myself picking up journaling again as a form of therapy, as a form of self-therapy. Around that same time, I went back to school to become a therapist because the process of that inward reflection that journaling provided showed me that I really wanted to help other people heal in such a profound way. So much so, I created my own journal. Just this year, I released a year-long 52-week guided journal because of the transformative power of journaling. And there's something very powerful about writing down your dreams and hopes for the future. It is powerful. It is profound. And it's transformative. It allows you to take a look inside. And if you don't like what you see when you look inside, you can change it. Journaling gives you a platform for change. It gives you a platform for growth. And that inward reflection is powerful because our outward life literally is a reflection of our inner life. So taking a look inward every once in a while through the process of journaling is a wonderful way to transform your life and continue with your commitment to your daily habits. Number 7, time in nature. And again, these are in no particular order because, again, I grew up in the woods. I'm at home amongst the trees. And in fact, when we bought this house where we live now, the day we came to look at it, my husband was inside looking at the house. I was outside talking to the trees because it's a wooded piece of land. And the trees told me to buy the house because it felt like home. The second reason we bought this house is because I am 1 mile from a forest preserve. So if I really want to get into the woods, I'm a 10-minute walk away from being surrounded with miles and miles of nature trails. And I'm on those trails every day. Being a lifelong athlete, I like to run in the woods. Being in nature, moving my body, and sometimes as a meditative run, it's mind, body, soul united. Spending time in nature is healing. Spending time barefoot on the earth is healing. It grounds us literally. It grounds us to the earth, but it also really tethers us to our truth. Being in nature is calming, it's healing. And I am next to or among the trees every day. Number 8, growing my own food. Now, like I said, I grew up with family of farmers. And so growing food, cultivating food, canning food, all is in my bones. It's just how I live. It's how I grew up. But as an adult, creating a garden, teaching my children this is where food comes from was really important to me. Having children who knew how to grow certain foods was important to me. In my opinion, you have to know where your food comes from. We volunteered at CSAs, community supported agricultural farms, while they were kids. And we've always had a backyard garden. A couple years ago, when we renovated this house, I created what I call my dream garden. And it's just a beautiful design series of raised beds because the raised beds just make it a little bit easier to work in, and it's just a little more aesthetically pleasing. Plus, the height of the raised beds keeps the bunnies out. So there's a double bonus on that one. Growing my own food, again, keeps me close to the earth. It keeps me close to the land. However, it's also just more nutritious. Being in the garden, I'm surrounded by growing things, which raises my vibrational energy, number one. Growing my own food, knowing what's in the soil, and I have a compost bin, so I'm adding quality nutrients all the time to the soil. It means that the food that I'm eating has more vitamins and minerals than commercially grown food because the soil matters. Modern agriculture leaves the soil depleted of and void of most of the micronutrients that we need. So growing my own food is healthier, plus it's meditative, plus it's time in nature, plus the food is more nutritious. Again, mind, body, and soul united. It's a way to stay healthy. Number 9, and this is really important and something I didn't really do when I was younger, but that is safeguarding my sleep. Sleep is so important. It's restorative. And as a mental health provider, sometimes one of the first things that I try to tackle with patients is regulating and restoring their sleep. Because when we are sleeping well, our body heals, our mind heals. Safeguarding sleep is paramount. It really will fix a lot of things in your physical and mental body. Protecting it is important. I go to bed early, and it's one of the best parts of my day because it really is. It feels luxurious. It feels so self-loving to protect and safeguard my sleep. And It also lowers my stress response. It lowers cortisol. It helps me get into those theta waves, which again, we know are healing on a cellular level. Sleep is restorative. Quality sleep is very important for sustained mental and physical health. And the last one is cooking most of my meals. I love cooking. I know not everyone does, but when you grow your own food, you have a connection to the earth. And cooking my own food really allows me to pay attention to the quality of the food that I'm eating. I get to control the ingredient list. I get to choose healthy fats. I get to choose the oils I cook in. I get to choose the ingredients that are, for me, low inflammatory, no gluten, no dairy, which is helps with inflammatory. I wrote a book on resetting your gut health, showing the connection between mental health and physical health. Cooking my own food allows me to really eat the healthiest way possible, which again not only improves my physical health, but because of the gut brain connection, allows me to eat highly nutritious foods, which improve my mental health. Because when my gut biome is healthy, then it's going to make the neurotransmitters my brain needs. 95% of what our brain needs, our gut makes. So, creating a healthy gut by controlling the food that I grow and cook ensures that I am going to have the healthiest, most nutritious food that I can. So there you have it. There's my top 10. There's my top 10 habits that help me stay mentally and physically healthy and strong. I'd love to hear your comments on what are your top 10 or even your top 3. How do you keep yourself healthy and well?